On the day when unemployment figures are again showing a good improvement, down to 11%, I think it's important to remember a few of the important points in relation to taxation in the budget. The reduction in the top rate of tax from 41% to 40%, the increase in the standard tax rate banned by €1,000, the USE rate cuts and the threshold raised to over 12,000, the abolition or the reduction of the pension levy from 0.75 to 0.15 and its planned abolition in 2015, and the certainty regarding the 12.5% corporation tax rate, which is so important to a constituency like mine, where there's a number of multinational businesses and companies creating employment and providing employment. There's a number of other positives that are not in the bill, such as the decision not to increase excise duty on alcohol, particularly important for the rural pub trade, and there's a strong campaign there. We know the importance of rural pubs as focal points for rural communities, and also the decision to retain the 9% VAT rate for tourism, again hugely important in my constituency, Galway City, Connemara, the Aran Islands, Inishbofin. I also like to mention a number of other sections. Section 5, which increases the threshold by 10,000 to 50,000, meaning the first 50,000 of profits or gains earned by artists will be exempt from income tax. And this is an important measure in relation to the arts and creative sectors, again hugely important in the Galway West constituency. Section 11, which extends the home renovation incentive to include rental properties. This is hugely important. There's a number of substandard properties out there, both for students or for others, and this incentive will allow landlords to invest and improve those facilities, to make them safer, to make them warmer, and I think that I certainly welcome that incentive, and we've seen the positive impact of the previous one in relation to the non-landlords and non-rental market. Section 24, I welcome the decision to extend the employment and investment incentive scheme to medium-sized companies. We know the importance of these micro and medium-sized companies in this country in terms of the level of employment that they create, the amount of jobs that they create, and it's important to extend these incentives to recognise these important companies in our country. Section 34, welcome the decision to extend the corporation tax relief till the end of 2015. Again, we need to reward entrepreneurship. We need to reward people who establish new companies and create employment, take that risk, and having a tax code in place that gives them that tax break, a 3-year corporation tax relief, and I welcome the decision to extend that up to the end of 2015. In relation to Section 28, the Living Cities Initiative, again, I welcome this initiative, the extension. The expenditure has been limited to 1.6 million by companies and 400,000 for individuals, so as to permit commencement of the scheme as soon as possible. And the limits mean the incentive or the initiative comes under a less complex EU state rule regulation. And this initiative has already attracted attention in Galway from individuals seeking to restore and renovate homes in older parts of the city, and I certainly welcome that. In relation to agricultural reliefs, again, I welcome the whole policy that was initiated by Minister Noonan and Minister Coveney in relation to the agricultural section of the tax regime for farmers. I welcome the initiatives in relation to the assistance in succession and farm transfer. Section 18, the targeting of agricultural relief from capital acquisitions tax to qualified or full-time farmers or those who would lease out land on a long-term basis. Section 44 for transfers under retirement relief extension of the eligible letting period of a qualifying asset to 25 years, and for transfers other than to a child under retirement relief, a once-off measure until the end of 2016 allowing con-acre or short-term rented land lettings, deeming them to be eligible. And Section 69, the extension of stamp duty consanguinity relief, relief to related persons on non-residential transfers to the end of 2017. We know the importance of encouraging land transfer. We know the importance of encouraging young people into farming as our primary industry. And we know next year, with the removal of milk quotas, there will be a huge rush to acquire blocks of land by dairy farmers, and they need to have security and certainty into the future, and these initiatives and these measures will allow that. They will allow them to secure plots of land on a long-term basis because people will be more willing, because it will be more tax beneficial for them to lease land on a long-term basis. One issue that I would have is the definition in the bill in relation to an active farmer, and I would support the cause of the Irish Farmers Association that the definition of an active farmer should be amended it's basically, it states in the bill that it relates to people who spend 50% of their time on the farm, and there's a lot of off-farm employment. So I would ask.
Thank you, Deputy Kyne.
I just conclude would act that the definition of an active farmer should be defined as an individual who is carrying out the trade of farming as set out in the Schedule 655 of the Tax Consolidation Act, and I would hope the Minister would look at that in amendments at committee stage.
Deputy Paul Connaughton, you have 5 minutes.